Hey guys, I just wanted to pop on real quick. Just had a Zoom meeting, a very short one. Didn't expect it to be that short, but about what was it? Talk Saves Lives. I have been invited by one of my business networking partners to a special private Zoom training, and we kind of got to know each other a little bit today. And it is about helping others, training people to talk about suicide to people who have gone through it. I am learning to do it because I have been through it. I've been on both sides of the coin of suicide. And with me wanting to be a professional speaker and going out when all this virus stuff is over, going out in public and talking to people, getting into schools, getting into businesses, getting in front of groups of people, I am definitely wanting training because how I come across and how people would want you to come across may be different because I am such a very blunt, honest person. And sometimes I know you have to be a little bit more delicate. There are certain things to talk with people. So I want to be able to communicate effectively with people in that respect. So I want to get all the training that I can because the more you know, the better it is. So with that, I'm really looking forward to helping other people. I'm really looking forward to getting even more training because I am wanting to start some programs myself. In the video, or not in the video, in the training today, there was a lady that they do walks in the Charleston area, big, huge gathering of people who are like-minded and everything. And I thought that was actually a really good idea. I really have some ideas in that roundtable thing that we were going to do. Now that I know Zoom a little bit, that might be an advocate or an avenue, I should say, to do the roundtable. So that would be one thing that I'm looking to do myself and kind of go from there. But definitely wanted to get into different areas. I know I want to get in with children because of my own son and my experience in that. But being as an adult, I had a message sent to me the other day, and it was such a really an eye-opening experience. And I say eye-opening because I knew to address this, but it's always nice when people do give you ideas of different people to talk to. Suicide is not just for teenagers. Suicide is not just for young adults. Suicide is from anybody who is mentally capable of thinking of taking their own lives. And a lot of people would say, well, who is actually capable of thinking that? You would be really surprised at how many people that thought has crossed their mind at different ages. Look at the child who was 5 years old and who was bullied, and he literally wanted to kill himself. I mean, that was just a sad, sad video. There's also preteens, teenagers, young adults, 30s, 40s, 50s. It doesn't matter what age. It's like cancer. It does not discriminate. So that's the one thing that we all have to be aware of is our adults and our grandparents, older generations, people who are suffering through cancer, people who are suffering through chronic illness, chronic pain. That is a huge one because when you live with chronic pain on a daily basis to the point of having to take medications all the time, it really wears on your mental facility, I guess you can say. A lot of our grandparents and our adults who unfortunately are not very healthy have these thoughts because they don't want to be a burden. They don't feel like they're getting enjoyment out of life, or they don't feel like they're the person that they used to be. So the thought does cross their mind. So it's not just for teenagers. Yep, that age is a very chronic age as well. You think of people who are just coming out of college or who are just going into college, their early 20s, mid 20s. You know, it's the adjustment of going from teenagehood to adulthood to really living adulthood. It's an adjustment, and a lot of times we aren't taught that, or we don't know how to adjust because it's like, oh, that's what you do. And so that's the reason why I'm trying to get training now, so I can help different avenues, different people, different ages, because I can honestly say, you know, from the young ones to the old ones, I want to save them all. But I also know everyone is different. Like with me at 16, I wanted to commit suicide. My son at 16 completed suicide. You have people who are going into the military, and that's why I wore my shirt, Navy. Thank you. My whole family was Navy, but my son was going to go in the Air Force. So I'm a huge advocate of the military people and our young ones that are going through boot camp, not always surviving boot camp. And then you have the colleges, the kids going into college and they don't adjust well, or they have bad experiences. You have people who are going into go Air Force. Yeah. You have people who are really just trying to adjust to working. You have people who are doing things that they didn't expect, either A, to have a child, or B, to be married, or whatever goes on. We're having to learn how to deal with that. And as you well know, you've heard me say, mental health is a huge, huge thing that we are not speaking of, we are not teaching, we are dancing around it. It's a stigma. It's more open now than it ever has been, but it still has a crap load of room to grow. We are very, very much, oh wow. Yes. Sorry, I was just reading one of the ones about 43 and chronic health issues and inadequate. Mom, I'm telling you right now, that is a huge thing with us mamas. We feel like we just don't fit. We don't do a good job. We're always constantly, you know, questioning ourselves, and it is one of those things where if we're constantly questioning ourselves, we always feel that we're not good and we can't live up to standards. And we're like, okay, what's the point? You know, I suck at being mom, so I'm done. You know, so those thoughts, it's like a snowball effect. So yes, mental health is a huge thing. And I can honestly say mental health is also a huge thing of our older generation who are sitting there, no more kids. They're having, they're at home, they're having a hard time because they're retired, they don't know how to pay their bills, they're living on such a small income, and they're having to decide, should I get this prescription or should I get this food? Or, you know, those are hard decisions. And then when they lose their spouse, it's like you've been with that person for so long and all of a sudden they're gone. It's like, so why am I living still? Where people's minds go, it really, looking from the outside in, you're like, okay, how did you even come to that thought? But if you actually sat there and looked at their lives from a longevity point of view, you would understand have to take this into consideration, this in consideration, this in consideration. So there, it's not just one small thought. It's a conglomerate of thoughts together that come to this one conclusion. So it is difficult. So mental health is a huge thing. So going back to the training, I want to get as much training as possible. So I've had a couple people reach out to me, and we're doing those. So I'm doing a lot of learning Zoom classes, Zoom online, and it's just, yes, we do need to stop using crazy and retarded. You're exactly right. My mom was a special ed teacher, and she corrected me a lot on that respect as well. I know we have a lot of words that we say in our English language that a lot of times people don't realize that they're saying. It's just a manner of speech. They don't give it much thought when they speak it. Just like Grayson, when I think I remember very specifically one time I was washing dishes, and he was talking about something, and I think it was the stress of school and these tests that were coming up, and he's like, Mom, he goes, all I want to do is go pff, like that. You know, I look at it now and I cringe, and it almost brought tears to my eyes. You don't think something affects you until something happens. See? You don't realize things. Whew. I didn't expect that. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so we were sitting there, and you don't realize when someone says something because they so nonchalant say it. Sorry. I had to get a tissue. Woo! That was a doozy. So yeah, you don't realize how much it affects you until something happens, just like with Grayson, you know, and that one comment right there. So him doing that, I look back now, and I know at that moment he was just saying it because it was just something to say. That's how he felt, to demonstrate his mind. But now looking back, you see that, like, holy crap, if he does that and he's thought of that, how many times did he actually think of it? So it's we need to really look at our language when we speak to people, because you never know someone's internal struggle. And I can honestly say, this being at home business, I'm learning to be better. Yesterday was a really good day. I felt strong. I felt good. My workout wasn't so hard, whereas the day before it was extremely hard and very difficult. Today, been good. Until that moment, I can honestly say I've had a couple days now that I haven't cried. Not that I haven't thought about him. I can tell you I have thought about him every waking moment. That will always be there. It's also interesting how people, I don't want to say are forgetting. I think people are seeing us trying to go back to our new normals and are acting the way they used to be before all this has happened, and we find it irritating. I don't know how to really explain that. I just wish people would understand that emotional outbursts, aka which is what just happened, does happen. There are things that we're going to take differently now. We're going to be a little bit more sensitive to things, to speech, to mannerisms, to a lot. So the reason why I got on here in the first place is I am getting out there. I am getting training. I want to be a huge advocate. This, it's the American, what is it? The American Foundation Support, I don't know what the P stands for. It's AFSP.org. Really with some good things. They have a lot of training materials. There are local groups around here. This lady, she runs out of Hilton Head, but she's trying to get people here in the Charleston area. So it's something that I am listening to her, getting some training. So we'll see how that goes. I do want to start something of my own. I'm looking into different avenues of that, of what it takes. There are tons of support groups. I don't want to be just another group. I want to be something a little bit different. So I'm trying to figure out ways of doing that. Yes, I know I want to become more of an out there professional speaker. That's why I'm on here. Some of you guys have even say get on TikTok. I do have a YouTube page, but it's for my healing tree that I've been very, very lacking on. So I need to be better about that. But I'm thinking of doing that as well. So there are different things that I know that I can do that I need to get out there. But a couple of you have reached out about TikTok because I knew it's the new in thing right now. So that's one thing that I have to look at. But speaking is my forte. I don't do it well at times, but it is trying to get out there. And you guys listening to me has been a tremendous help. So I would say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that. And again, I wanted to get on here because thought about you and wanted to be on here, and just needed to see your faces. I see some of you hopping on. I want to expand tomorrow night. I've been trying to think of a good subject to talk about. So tomorrow night at 7 p.m., I am going to talk about suicide is not just for children. It is for adults. It is something that we need to sit there and think about our older generations and kind of go from there. So this is something that I want to bring more awareness for, because I guess if you really want to break it down, it's older generation, it's by job, it's by life experience. I mean, if you want to break it down that way, we can, but I think I can group that tomorrow at 7 and talk about, I guess, 20s and up, about all the different ways and the reasons why people say that they want to commit suicide. Or I think the new way that they're talking about is to succeed in suicide, because you don't just, if you commit it, you're committing to it. Some people actually don't follow through with it. Some people actually succeed in it. So it's a different language to learn, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. So with that, I'm going to stop talking now. I love all of you tremendously. Thank you for your support. And you get to see my face tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Hope you guys get on there. And please invite whomever that you can to this group. It is growing by leaps and bounds. I'm getting close to 900. I'm ever, from the bottom of my heart, grateful for that. I want to see those numbers climb, because the more numbers that I can get on there, the more people that I'm reaching, and the more people that I'm reaching, the more that Grayson's story can be heard, and it can stop someone from doing this, from completing suicide. So with that, I thank you. I will talk to you guys later. And if you have any questions or anything that you need, please feel free to message me, text me, talk to me, whatever you need to do. And I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.